Michaelkeil here. Today I'm with in-house economist Ryan Bridie and we're going to look at real estate prices. Ryan, over to you.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to use a simple supply and demand model to see what's happened to Perth real estate prices. At the moment we have 16,000 listings and it's widely regarded as an oversupply. Mike, what level of oversupply do you think we're at?
Yeah, right. Well, equilibrium in Western Australia or the Perth market is around 12,000. At the moment, we're obviously 4,000 homes oversupplied, so we're very much still a buyer's market.
Okay, so basically our demand is unable to meet our supply.
Correct.
Okay, we're going to use some basic economic principles here, and the first thing is we're going to call listings as equal to our supply. And what we can see since March 2015, and these grey bars represent our listings or our supply, we can see that the supply has been very constant over the last 3 or 4 years. If we look though and say our sales volumes equals our demand or buyer demand, and that's represented by these grey bars, we can see that the sales volume or our demand has been decreasing since March 2014. And as a result, we can see our median house price has been declining along with it. If we go to just a simple economic model and we can see, okay, if the quantity demanded has shifted from Q1 to Q2, this shifts our demand curve down from D1 to D2. And as a result, the price then gets shifted down from P1 to P2. And if we go back to our sales volume graph or our demand graph, that's exactly what's happened. Our demand has decreased, causing our median house price to decrease. If we go on and we say, okay, if prices decline, there should be less incentive for people to sell. So there should be a decline in the supply. And what happens here is if we have a decline in the quantity supplied from Q1 to Q2, we see our supply curve shift from S1 to S2 and it raises the price from P1 to P2. So it's a way the market balances itself out. However, as we can see, this hasn't happened. We're still left with a very consistent level of supply. And Mike, why do you think this is?
Yeah, look, Ryan, there's a lot of reasons for the supply being so high. There's changes to people's personal circumstances. A lot of people moving interstate for work, so they sell up. A lot of investors aren't getting the rent returns they were 4, 5, 6 years ago, and maybe under financial pressure, so they have to sell. Like, there's many reasons why that supply is so high at the moment.
Okay, if we go on then and we look at the rental market, we can see that our supply and demand model works really well. Okay, so what we're looking at is we can see here that the rents for units and houses has declined, and as they've declined, it's led to lower supply because it's discouraging investors because they're not getting the same level of return. At the same time, the lower rents are also an incentive for people to rent rather than buy. So what we're doing is we're getting a reduction in supply, an increase in demand, and as a result, we're getting lower vacancy rates. And as these vacancy rates have continued to decline, now we start to see our rents increase. So in this case, the model works really well.
Yep, and Ryan, that's a good indicator because once the vacancies drop, you normally see that is a forward indicator for people to take a position of why rent now. Maybe it's time to buy because the rents start rising and there's less available to choose from.
And that's right. And if we go to the Curtin Rewa Rent Buy Index, now what they do here is they take a number of variables into consideration. They take the median house price, they take interest rates, they take inflation, they take the current rent, they take vacancy rates, and they put this into a model and they come up with a figure. And what this current figure means at the moment is house prices have to increase by 2.9% every year for the next 10 years for it to be more economically viable to buy rather than rent. So this supports what you're saying because we can see the positive aspect in the buy and the negative and it's reducing the benefits of renting.
Yep. So Ryan, if you look at this, and we're now at this point, which is the same point back in 2013. So affordability, and this would indicate that now is a better time to buy than rent, possibly.
And for the last 5 years, this is a better time to buy than rent, and the first time it's been this low in 5 years. we can look and say, okay, the reasons for this being a better opportunity to buy than to rent now, and we can look at very easy examples. We have the lowest medium house price since 2012. We have increasing rents and also low vacancy rates, and at the same time we also have low interest rates. So all these factors are leading into our index showing that now is becoming a better time to buy rather than to rent.
No, fantastic. And look, I think, Ryan, there's no better time to buy than now in Perth. Affordability is fantastic. Again, another great presentation. If you would like to receive our weekly e-newsletter, then drop me an email to Michaelkeil.com. Ryan writes a newsletter. There's great material in there. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and bye for now.